Hello my fellow aliens, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jojo Rarity. It's been a while since I did the sit down video, but yeah, this time I want to talk about some books that I read this year. I've been reading a lot of books this year actually, but I'm gonna be talking about 10 books that I liked so far that I've read this year. And yes, been a good reading challenge for me actually this year. Last year I also read a lot of books, but yeah, I wrote a list. So number 10 on my list is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. And yeah, it's like a young adult kind of book. It's also like psychological thriller actually. But yeah, mostly the books that I've read are like horror or sci-fi, but it's like a young adult book. But I think there's also part two. I'm not sure, but I always wanted to read it. And yeah, it's a pretty good story. It fits like to be in the to be made into a TV show or movie. So if I look down, of course I write down some notes. Yeah, so I won't spoil anything, of course, but I think I gave this also a good rating, like 4 out of 5. Like in Goodreads, like always like ratings like 1 to 5. That's why. And yeah, I really enjoyed the story so far. So it's about a wealthy family who spends every summer on the private island. And yeah, it's like I haven't read The Summer I Turned Pretty. I never read the books, but I watched the series. It's kind of reminds me of there because I read We Were Liars first. So, but I always know about the story The Summer I Turned Pretty because I know the writer. That's why. But yeah, I never read the books, which I also want to read actually. So, anyways, about this family who lives on a private island, and the story focuses on this main character. Her name is Cadence, and yeah, so she had like an accident. She hurt her head. She has like a head injury, so she don't remember anything what happened during the last summer. So she came back there and she doesn't remember anything. And yeah, this is a story about that, and also like her family and her friends. She always I don't remember. I think like yeah, it's like she has best friends who also stay there, and like cousins I think. But I think like there also like a group of friends she has that she visited, and so they never told her about also what happened. And yeah, so the more and more you know about, it's gonna be like it's not like a thriller kind of like she doesn't know what happened, but it's kind of like more to the story. And yeah, that's why I kind of find it interesting, and the story like really progresses. The beginning was like so normal story you think, but then it progresses into more. So it's like I really enjoyed this. So the next book is also like a young adult book, and it's called See You Yesterday. And I think there was like a movie on Netflix with the same title. So I don't know if it's really completely different. I saw the trailer, but I remembered this when I saw the book. Anyway, it's from the author Catherine Foxfield. And yeah, I like the story because it's like about a time loop. And it's like about these two people who are like freshman students, and they're like stuck in a time loop and they have to repeat like the first college day over and over again. It's like the movie Groundhog Day. And it's also another movie, the one horror comedy movie, Happy Death Day. It's also kind of like a time loop, right? So yeah, I kind of like the stories. The first time I'm reading a book like that. So yeah, it was pretty cute, quirky love story between these two kids. I didn't write down the names. I forgot what the names are like. But yeah, it's a cute story that you can read if you like this kind of time loop stories. So yeah, check it out. So number 8 on my list is a sci-fi book, which was actually pretty difficult to read in the beginning, and it's called Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I don't know how to pronounce it. And yeah, it's the first time actually I've read a science book, but it was so interesting. I really like sci-fi movies. I like alien movies, if you know that about me. So yeah, it was kind of difficult to understand. That's why, but it was really interesting, and maybe it feels like they're gonna be also movies, kind of like Interstellar or Gravity, all these kind of movies. And yeah, so it's about this guy, Ryland Grace, who wakes up from a coma and has no memory of what happened and how he got there. And yeah, that's why it's like kind of complicated for him to figure out why he's there, and he's like all alone on this spaceship, all alone, and he doesn't know or have no recollection of what happened to him. And yeah, so later on, he kind of realized, and his memory comes back, that they had a mission to do, and he's like the only survivor, and yeah, he also meets like some other things that I don't want to say to spoil it, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. Also in the beginning it was hard to understand. Later on, kind of still enjoyed it. So yeah. So number 5, I have like actually two books here from Stephen King, and this is like one of them. It's called Billy Summers. So yeah, it's like actually Stephen King is like a horror horror writer, right? But this book wasn't really that horror for me, in my opinion, like the other books that I've read. But yeah, at the beginning I wasn't really into it. I realized I don't know if I will like the story. But I heard like so many good reviews and people loved this, and later on I was really into it, and I actually enjoyed it also. So it's about this ex-marine sniper who's like a killer for hire, and he only kills bad people though. And it's like he wanna do this last job that he has to do, and he really gonna get so much money. That's why it's like the last time he wanna do this because he doesn't wanna kill people anymore. But yeah, it's the last time they asked him to do this, and it's like one important person he has to kill, and so he has to work like undercover as a freelance writer. And yeah, so he has to wait for the kill day. It's like a couple of months or so. And yeah, many things happen also in this book. So that's why, like I said, it doesn't sound so interesting if you read the summary. But I quite enjoy it. I like his character also. And yeah, later on was like so different and kind of like twist also in the story. It's a different kind of story from Stephen King, but I still enjoyed it. So number 6 on my list is called Hidden Pictures by Jason Wikulak. And it's like a horror book, an actually pretty creepy one. It's like I was always in the mood for like to read horror books recently. And yeah, so it's about this girl called Mallory Quinn, who is 21 years old and have a history of addiction. And so after 18 months, she's like sober, and she's gonna start a new chapter in her life. And so she comes upon these two couples. This one couple? Two couples. She runs into this couple and who gave her a summer job to babysit their son, a 5-year-old called Teddy or Ted. And yeah, it's kind of thriller, mystery, paranormal, because like he's like a pretty creepy kid. It's like there's also so many movies I watched about this, like the storyline where a kid is like so creepy. And so yeah, that's why it was a really good book. Also, the book is so cool because there's like pictures of the drawings from the kid, which are so creepy also. And yes, cool drawings in the book also, and I love the cover, so yeah, you should check it out if you love this kind of eerie stories about creepy kids. So why not check this out? So number 4 and 5 gonna be like 2 books at the same time because like continuation. It's like these 2 horror books called also My Heart is Chainsaw and then part 2. I forgot the title, I didn't write it down. I also don't want to talk about the second part because like spoilers. So if you haven't read the first one, so I can spoil it. It's like a continuation of this horror books from Stephen Graham Jones. And yeah, it's pretty good if you're a horror lover because like also in the book she mentions so many horror movies because she's like a slasher freak and she knows all the horror slashers, even all the names that I don't even know because I didn't watch like so many slashers, even though it's my favorite genre. Like she mentioned all those names I didn't even know, so it was kind of spoiler for me even. Because also at the time I didn't watch Halloween, and she always mentioned her name Laurie, I think was her name. That's one of her favorite slasher queens. So I never watched Halloween at the time, like only the first part. So I do know Laurie Strode, that's her name. But yeah, it's like one of her favorites, so yeah. Sometimes I can relate, even though I love horror, but I didn't watch like all the 90s or 90s or 80s horror movies that much, which I should do actually if you're a fan of horror. So anyway, it's about this girl, Jade Daniels, also called JD. As I said, she's obsessed with horror movies, especially slashers. And so I like these books because those are like slasher books. And I really love slasher the most when I watch horror movies. And she lives in this little town called Prufrock, Idaho. And like she's like in senior year of high school. And she also writes like papers of slashers. She's like so obsessed with it. And yeah, that's the funny thing because like so obsessed with slasher, suddenly there's a slasher been happening in that town, and that's why she's like so excited. She's not even scared. She's like so excited, but she knows she isn't the final girl, so to say, because like she feels like in the stories, final girls are always like the ones you didn't expect sometimes, and she's like one of them. So yeah, that's why part 2 is continuation about that. So I can't spoil anything, but yeah, it's a pretty good slasher like series if you wanna check it out. So that's why those books are like 4 and 5. That's why I couldn't choose like only one of them. I like both of the books. So now on to the top 3. Number 3 on my list is The Institute by Stephen King. I liked it because it's like reminds me so much of Stranger Things. I don't know if it came first or the book came first. I know when the book came out. Anyway, so I heard actually also they want to do a TV series. It's gonna be so weird. It's gonna be like Stranger Things also. Books are about kids about having powers, and also like kids that are like 13, 12 years old. It's like they were like in Stranger Things the first season. So anyway, it's about this brilliant and sensitive boy named Luke who is kidnapped and taken to a compound where like there's so many kids who have special talents and they kind of experiment on them. It's kind of sad. Also, of course, it's based in the Maine. That's why, as I said, he's also a sensitive boy. It reminds me so much of um Noah Snap. What's his character's name? Will. It's like Will, but I know Will doesn't have powers. But I mean, yeah, it's like a sweet kid who's like so young. So anyway, they're imprisoned in this like it's like based in Maine, and like they're like imprisoned in this place in this compound, which they experiment like on kids with superpowers. So if you like horror, thriller, sci-fi, suspense, you like this book, and it's Stephen King. Come on, it's like such a good writer, and yeah, I can't wait if they're gonna do this to put this into a TV show since Stranger Things ending. So yeah, pretty good read. So two more books, and number 2 on my list is called The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klein. So yeah, I had so many good reviews about this book. Always wanted to read it, and even though it's so funny because the main character is actually an older man, not really that old, but I mean like in his 40s. He's like the main character in this book, and yeah, his work is like a case worker, and so he has to go to this remote orphanage and to check out because that's his work. He always checks out orphanage, and some orphanage kids weren't treated that good, and he always like needs to check it out if it's good for them to stay there or not. So he got sent far away place like by the sea. That's why it's called like that, Syrian Sea, and so he has to check out the place, and also the kids are always like powerful. They have also superpowers. They're like all different. I don't want to say anything so much, but I was like really young kids, like maybe 9 to 12 or something. And yeah, it's like a sweet story, also kind of sad. So yeah, also like they have superpowers and they're all different, as I said, like maybe 5 kids. And there's also one guy who's like the head of the orphanage. And yeah, what else can I say? It's really quick, easy read also, but really beautiful storyline. And yeah, you will fall in love with it. I think so many books also I gave like a 4 out of 5. But number 1 on my list is actually like 5 out of 5, which I find so good. Also heard so much about it, and that's why it's number 1 for me. It's called If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. And yeah, oh my god, it's such a good book. It's like one of my favorites for sure that I read this year. And they should really they should do a movie or TV show also about this, because it kind of feels like they should do it. But yes, also like if you like the stories about friendship also, but thriller, mystery, suspense, and everything in between. I really enjoyed this book. I love the friendship in this book also. That's why I like it so much, I guess. Anyway, it centers around a group of fourth-year theater students who are like in this university program in Illinois. Illinois. And yeah, everything is all well. But then things change for the dramatic, and everything changes for the dynamics of the group. I can't also say so much to spoil it. And yeah, I think it's about like also Shakespearean, like acting. I mean, once I read it, but yeah, also like because as I said, they're like theater students, so they're like in theater program, so that's how they all know each other. So yeah, so it's really interesting, also kind of sad. Twist is kind of sad in the end, also, which is like an open ending. I think it was really an ending, so you don't know really what to expect from that. So yes, definitely one of my favorite books that I read so far, and really enjoyed it. And yeah. So I'm opening my Goodreads. I read so many books, like 17 maybe in total this year. Some were also good, but couldn't make the top 10. Some were like better than the other ones that I've read. But maybe I will mention some of the books that I read also. Yeah, it's like Book of Night by Holly Black, which I didn't enjoy so much, I believe. And then the other one is like Tender is the Flesh, which is like also good. It's like I think the author is from Argentina or something. It's like a cannibal story, which is really brutal and disgusting to read, but will I say fave? Not really. Also, I read some of V.E. Schwab books, but I also don't really like that much, even though I like the writer, because one of my favorite from her is I do love V.E. Schwab, her books sometimes, but this wasn't a good one. But I like her duology books. It's called the Villain series, like Vengeful. I check Vengeful and Vicious. Yeah, it's so good. I love these two books. Actually, it's a duology. I think I read the both. So I do love her Wider Times, but those were the books that I really like from her. She do like hit and miss. I know many people don't like her. Sarah Gallant, I didn't like that much, but I know many people like her books or don't. Because also this Savage Songs also from her, V Swab, which I also don't know. I don't even remember. That means it's not that good. Like I read it this summer, and it really didn't stuck into my mind. That's why I didn't choose this one. Oh, but I do like Catherine Foxfield books. I did mention the name. What else did you write? Yeah, it's like the other book I read was It's Behind You, and the other one's Tag Your Dad. But I didn't like it that much. I like the other one better. I like It's Behind You, but Tag Your Dad is okay. Wasn't really my favorite, but I do like also her writing style. And what else? Oh, others like also horror that I read is like She Is a Haunting by Chung Thun Tran. It's like a Vietnamese writer, I guess. It's also interesting. It was also a good book, actually. Yeah, it was also kind of interesting story. And and oh yeah, and then the two books that I've read recently, which is a trilogy, is Kingdom of the Wicked and Kingdom of the Cursed. I finished it. It's from Carrie Manisalo. I don't know. Anyway, so I need to read the last book. I also like it. Isn't really my fave books. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm really not that into it, but I'm gonna read the third one. It's okay, I guess. So yeah, those are all the books that I've read. Also, what I still want to read maybe this year, I don't know if I can, is Summer Turned Pretty series, because I watched the series, so I actually want to read it. Actually, I always read the books first and watch it sometimes, but yeah, because I like also Jenny Han. I mean, because I read the other books, All the Boys I Loved before. I read all of those before I watched the movies, and I didn't watch even the last part. I only read it, so yeah, that's why. Let's see if I can read it this year. So actually, I'm a fast reader. Actually, I can read a lot, but 17 is not that much, I think, because other people can read more, I think. Because actually, in a month you can finish more, but actually, I always like mostly finish one book in a month. So maybe, but let's see how many books I still read. I still have like 1 month almost left. So yeah, also mostly I read like I was into horror or sci-fi books, but also sometimes I like normal contemporary. I do like to read contemporary books. I don't know, but yeah, why not? Sometimes life is just normal. That's why I like fantasy sometimes to dwell into the books because life is so different. That's why maybe I like to read this kind of book sometimes. Actually, I also want to do like the top 10 movies and TV shows. I didn't want to do it now because like there's 1 month left, but I don't know. Let's see, because maybe I'm going to watch some other things. But I already watched a lot of movies. I already write down all the movies I watched, like over 100, like 160. Maybe it's also not that much for many, but for me it's like also much. I think last year I watched more. But there's 1 month left for Christmas movie, maybe. So yeah, I'm also gonna do a list, like the best movies that I watched this year. I think doesn't have to be a movie this year, I mean, but like a new movie that I watched this year for sure. Doesn't have to be from this year. Could be from other years also, but that I just watched and make a list about it. Also TV shows. I need to mention TV shows that I've finished all, like finished all the like till the series finale. Because some other shows I haven't even finished yet, like Cobra Kai, or what other shows that I haven't finished. There's so many Marvel shows I haven't finished, which I also need to finish this year actually before the year ends. So yeah. So this is it. Hope you enjoyed. I know if you like my book contents, but do sometimes like to do like what I read for the what I read this year, or like yeah, like also my movies or TV shows. I don't do much contents. I do mostly vlogs if you notice, but the year's ending, so I still need to talk about it, which shows or movies that I really loved this year. So anyway, hope you also enjoyed this book edition, and if you do, please give a thumbs up. Also comment down below which books have you read, or which books that I mentioned are on a list as well to read or you have read. Tell me all about it. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to put on the post notifications so you know exactly when I upload. See you in my next video.